Hi everyone, I wanted to talk to you about voter fraud and how it's really important that we kind of follow up on our votes that we make for Trump 2020. Kind of maybe follow through on your vote, kind of like it's an important package that you're tracking, that you're sending out. Just try to be as diligent as possible because, again, not only with riots and domestic terrorism going on in our country thanks to the left, but now we have to worry about voter fraud. And for those who say it doesn't exist, voter fraud is very real. It's gone on in past elections. People have gone to prison for it. And Democrats and the so-called media public interest groups on the political left will tell you otherwise, that it doesn't exist. But they are either lying straight out or they're just ignorant. And according to Hans von Spakovsky, he had an interview with Newsweek, and he says voter fraud is a threat to the integrity of our election, the heart of our democracy. And Democrats want to make the problem worse by creating new voter laws, like what they've done with rioters, people who attack society. In New York, they've reformed a lot of laws to allow these people to stop, to loot, to attack people, to kill animals and assist in the mutilation of female genitalia, so that when this person goes to jail, they're automatically released without bail. And then on top of it, when they go to court, they get rewarded with gift cards and Mets tickets. Mets, M-E-T-S, Mets tickets. This is what's been reformed by Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, and Mayor de Blasio, two of the major, most corrupt, terroristic, mob pedophiles. If you want to look at the laws they reformed, it includes sexual and also attacks on children, where whoever does it, they can just be let out of jail without bail. So they're also creating new laws, voting laws, that allow room for cheating. And he says, I believe this issue is incredibly important now more than ever. Hans is a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation and manager of the think tank's Election Law Reform Initiative. He's one of the preeminent experts on election law and election fraud. And he explains how Democrats are pushing proposals that will clearly make fraud more prevalent. The biggest way to expand voter fraud, he says, is by voting by mail. So voting by mail is like the best way for them to take advantage of votes that are just lost and nobody can claim them. Democrats, they want to impose a universal vote by mail across the country. That's the biggest way for them to expand voters' fraud, is by voting by mail. Traditionally, citizens can request that an absentee ballot be mailed if they have a valid excuse. Like they've moved, they're sick, they're physically disabled, troops are stationed abroad with their families. But still, in most states, that's how it is. But some, such as Oregon, and that's where we have a lot of problems with domestic terrorism, thanks to the left radical mayors and governors, guys, and officials that run that state. He says Oregon is an exception because you can simply mail an absentee ballot to every single registered voter. And the problem with mailing ballots like this is that lists of registered voters across the country are in terrible shape. And states do a poor job of cleaning their voter polls or voter rolls. In fact, most states have given up on doing so because every time they try, well-funded liberal groups go and accuse them of purging active, eligible voters from the rolls to suppress voting. As a result, ballots get mailed out to people who don't exist. They no longer live at that address. They've died, or whatever the case may be. They just get mailed out, and the person's not living there no more. So he goes, voting by mail also leads to ballot harvesting. The practice voters' ballots and turn them in together to polling stations. So imagine a political operative coming to pick up your vote, right? Because for whatever reason you're not able to deliver it. Not only when they come pick it up will the ballot no longer be secret, but they can go ahead and pressure or even intimidate you to vote a certain way, especially if you're sick, elderly, or speak poor English. Another invitation for dishonest elections and inaccurate voting is same-day registration. Under this system, if you aren't registered to vote, you can register on election day and immediately vote. Election officials have no time to verify your address or even your information. So, as Hans notes, Democrats have gotten to the point where they feel the ends justifies the means, and they will do anything to take Trump out. Because Trump, remember guys, he's up against some of the most evil people in the world, if not the most evil of people. And Hans has a podcast, and he speaks about other elections that in the future the Democrats are going to keep doing the same thing. They're going to try to steal the vote, and also about nationwide riots and protests following the killing of George Floyd. Okay guys, we got to be really proactive with this voting. When we vote, we have to see that that vote gets where it's supposed to go, like our life depends on it. And remember, the Democrats are creating new laws so that they can make mail-in absentee voting a norm throughout all 50 states, where it gives them more than an ample room to cheat the system. And remember, they're already trying to cheat the system with their domestic terrorists that they're paying to destroy our country. And don't think that they're not going to utilize those people to help cheat the system with these ballots that are just vulnerable for anyone to fill out and put anything on them. Okay guys, have a good day, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon on the next video. And be good to each other, okay? Alright guys, bye.